Hey, Zach, what's going on, man?
Oh, man, it's it's a week. I'll say that. It's been a week.
Yeah. Well, hey, it is
Oh,
a hot Saturday night,
yeah.
and it's licensed to view. This is a weekly pop culture podcast where two best friends get together and talk about pop culture stuff. And
Yes.
this week we're gonna dial in and we're gonna focus
Laser
on
focus.
laser focus. We're gonna cut out the other stuff, test run, see how we're feeling,
Hmm.
kind of just mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And Zach, what are we talking about this week?
So this week, so we decided to take on this topic because there's a new film coming out on Netflix called Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway's Flash, and you've watched a lot of Gundam, a lot of
Right.
UC Timeline Gundam, and I have not really watched that much. I have a few series that I've watched, but nothing extensive, especially not with like the main Timeline Gundam stuff. Like I really don't know too much about that. And this movie's about that. So in anticipation of that, Netflix released a compilation of movies on their service that kind of recaps the original series. So this episode will be us focusing on the first two movies of that series, which I assume take up story wise up to I guess 66% of the original 43 run of Mobile Suit Gundam from 1979. Um, these movies, I think overall they ended up being 5 hours between both of them. I think they were both like 2.5 hours
Yeah, they're
long.
both about 2.5 hours long.
So about 5 hours to condense probably what was like, I guess 30 episodes. Probably it feels like.
Yeah, I think the first one, I'm just guessing from,
Hmm.
because I can't exactly place all the timeline
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, I think the first movie is like 1 to 15, 1 to 14, and then movie 2 is like 15 to 30. Because there's
Hmm.
50 episodes, I believe.
Is there 50? I know
There's
there's like it's
43
like
episodes. 43
okay. I knew there
episodes.
was like between 40 and 50. So.
And generally, 50 is the general idea for Gundam. So
Hmm.
this series is 43 episodes. So movie 1, 1 to 14, 1 to 15, 15 to
Yeah.
30. The last movie, the last,
However,
however,
however much that rounds up to.
exactly. And just to break it down a little bit more,
Hmm.
um, I wanted to ask you mentioned a second ago that
Yeah.
you don't have a lot of uh, history with Gundam in general,
Hmm.
as in mass, but
Right.
you do have a little. So
Yes.
what have you checked out? What have you seen? And what has stopped you from diving into the great space opera that is Mobile Suit Gundam?
I think for me, so the ones that I have watched is I've watched Wing, Gundam Wing, and all the stuff with Wing, which is really just Gundam Wing and then the movie, Endless
Endless
Waltz.
Waltz, yeah.
Um, I watched a little bit of Double O when it was airing on Toonami, but I never really finished it. And then I watched Mobile G Fighter, um, which was like the least Gundam series that's ever been created.
Yeah, definitely.
But I like that a lot. But those are like the big ones that I really check. And then I've watched Unicorn as well,
Okay, right.
which also like going back and like watching these movies and then thinking about the time I watched Unicorn. I'm like, I don't even understand how. I don't know how I understood anything that was going on in Unicorn.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I
so
know it
tied
like
in.
takes place like a little bit like reverse from everything, but I was texting you last night when we were talking about we basically had like a whole Gundam rant slash conversation between us two, and it was just like there's stuff that like they bring up like I vaguely remember them bringing up in Unicorn. And I'm like I don't even know how I like understood what the hell they're talking about. They're like calling back to stuff that happened in like 1979 in this like I don't know. I think it was like mid 2000, mid 2010s anime movie series. So
2010, I think. Yeah.
yeah. So but those are the main ones that I've watched was G Fighter, Wing, and then Unicorn.
Right. And I know for me, I know like a lot of people our age who kind of grew up on Toonami.
Hmm.
The G and Wing were the big ones because they both were
Yeah.
on Toonami a lot, especially Wing.
Mm-hmm.
I never watched Gundam Wing, like until like years later.
Yeah.
I would see it on TV and just never cared.
Yeah.
Um, Not because it didn't look cool or whatever. I just wasn't really into mecha or the
Mm-hmm.
romance because Gundam is all. It is
Yeah.
literally the space opera type shit.
Mm.
But it was Gundam Seed for me was what got me into Gundam,
Okay.
and it wasn't even the anime because that was also on Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, or Toonami or whatever.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that. It was the manga adaptation of the
Okay.
anime, and they didn't do the full run. It was like
Huh.
at least in English, like Tokyo Pop maybe had it. I think
Oh.
it was one of those companies that went away. I think, and they.
Togo Pop is infamous for doing that, where they like take a series and they'll be like,
Mhm.
"Hell yeah, we're gonna like do the manga adaptation," and then it's like halfway through, they're like, "Eh, we don't want to do this manga
And this wasn't
adaptation."
even halfway through. I think this was like the first 4 volumes, maybe.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, the
Wow.
first 4 volumes, and I read those a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
then I skipped all of Seed because I couldn't figure out where to watch it. But
Mm-hmm.
right at the same time, coincidentally, whoever the dub was, I don't know who it was, they were putting out the Seed Destiny DVDs
Okay.
like once every however many 6 months or something.
Yeah.
So I found the first two at like Best Buy, and that from then on, I was on the lookout for every Seed Destiny. So I had that entire run on DVD, which is
Okay.
the worst Gundam to be the first Gundam you watch fully. But I'm like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 when that happens, and
Mm-hmm.
then I backtrack.
Okay.
Then I watch all the Seed. It's like because with like Unicorn,
Mm-hmm.
to watch Seed Destiny, you have no context
Yeah.
for what anything is because of all the you don't watch Seed.
Because that's the sequel series to Seed, right?
Yeah, I mean it's the main characters of Seed Destiny. The first three characters are new characters, but
Mm-hmm.
they all interact with everyone else. It's
Okay.
like if you watch Zeta, you meet Amuro and Char. Even the main character is Camille, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know who the fuck Amuro is, you're like, who? There's no
Who are you?
you're lacking context for why it matters.
Right.
But since I read those first 4 volumes or whatever of the Seed manga, I was like, okay, I kind of can figure it out. And then YouTube
Okay.
was coming out, so I was able to like YouTube, you know,
Yeah.
unsubbed raw footage from Seed or something.
Oh, dude, that's shit. Back in the day, we go on YouTube and like watch an anime episode in 3 parts. Oh,
Yeah,
good
exactly.
shit.
But here we watched the compilation movies. The first two,
Yes.
double O 79, which is the
Hmm.
timeline, the 1 year war.
Yes.
Um, and I don't know how you want to break it down, Zach. Do you want to break it down with some sections first about how we felt, or how do you want to dive into it?
I mean, I don't know exactly you want to break it down. I mean, I have my list of notes for each movie, and it's really not like I know we talked about last time about like kind of having it in sections, but I really don't have it set up like that.
Sure.
I have it more set up in like chronological order as far as like things that came up in each movie and kind of like some of them are more like all encompassing between both movies, especially as I got further along.
Okay.
Uh, but for the most part, it's like this thing happened. This is like my note on it and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure exactly how you want to break it down per se, but
Well, let's start with the general, the biggest thing,
okay,
and say overall, because this
okay,
is your first experience into Gundam you see really
really,
with,
yeah,
at the beginning, and even with this, it's the fat pulled out of it. I mean,
yeah.
it's like bare bones right to the core of the main
Oh yeah, this is
story.
the Wagyu beef of Mobile Suit Gundam.
Right, and even then, we can talk about that
Yeah.
later. But after watching the first two movies, how do you feel about 79 series 0079 being the actual timeline for the UC? How do you feel about the for Gundam? What are your first
Mhm.
impressions? What did you expect going into it, and how did you feel finishing those first two movies?
When I was going into it, I was expecting what most people think of when they think of Mobile Suit Gundam, which is I was expecting a space opera story with giant robots.
Yeah.
Um, and that's not really what these first two movies are,
Mm-hmm.
which surprised me, but I wasn't exactly like, I wasn't put off by it. It definitely was like not what I was expecting from it. But I think overall, um, I kind of liked what the series was going for. Once you get past the fact that it's not a space opera at first, I like the kind of like it's almost like it reminded me a little bit of shit. What's the Beast of No Nation, like that type of thing, where it felt
Mm-hmm.
like it was very much focusing on like the horrors of war, and specifically with like Amuro's group. I mean, all of them they're like teenagers, so it also is like onto like the child soldier aspect of it, which is weird though when you think about it, because it's weird to think that because the whole series, especially the first two movies, it's all the military brass talking about like how short staffed they are and like how few soldiers they have and whatnot. And it's also like, but this war's been only going on for a year or less than a year at this point. Like really, the beginning of like Mobile Suit
Mm-hmm.
Gundam is like the war's like restarting after like months and months of a stalemate. Um, and so it's weird for the series to basically start off in a position where it's like, okay, we're understaffed. Okay, I don't understand how you're like so understaffed. Maybe that's something that like trimming the fat out, like it's kind of like lost in translation. But I don't understand how they're like so understaffed to the fact that they're like recruiting like teenagers to be like child soldiers and to like fight in this battle against like,
Mm-hmm.
especially because it's like Amuro's side is like basically all kids except for like at least on white base is like white base is like basically all kids except for Bright and
Right.
then
Yeah. Generals or some point, admirals.
Rio
Yeah.
and then the chick who pilots, she looks
Mm-hmm.
older. But other than that, it's like Amuro, it's like Frau, it's like Kai, like they're all kids, they're all teenagers. But then you look at Xeon, and Xeon, their whole group is like it's all adults, like it's
Mm-hmm.
all old people, like they don't really have like any child soldiers or anything like that. So it's weird that there's because you feel like in that sort of situation, unless Earth is just also just losing terribly, which is also something that is not translated that well. If Earth is just losing that badly, um, or the Earth Federation, I should say. But it just feels like it's a weird imbalance of like it feels like one side is either incredibly understaffed or just willing to throw kids into battle, and the other side is.
You know what? I think on that, and I could be remembering wrong, just
Mm-hmm,
because it's been so long since I've seen the original series. Because
mm-hmm.
it's heads up, not amazing. Like, it's that's a common opinion. I know that, but it's something that I have to say outright is that I love what 0079 is. It
Mm-hmm.
sets the groundwork, but it to Zeta is so much better.
It
Not
gets a
just
lot better later
not just the
on.
animation quality, but in terms of I think it's more gloomy from my
Yeah.
memory. But I think the characterizations are better. I think the characters are better. But if I remember correctly, and I could be misremembering, because if you first off the theme of child soldier reluctant hero, that's every fucking Gundam
Yeah,
for
that's
the
true.
most part. Like so, if you look at Gundam Seed, that storyline is it's exactly what UC is. Like
Yeah, I mean that's like Unicorn's whole thing too, because Bangalier Lynx is like a kid, and he's like the only one that can pilot Gundam.
well, I mean,
Um,
in terms of Gundam Seed, it's literally like there's an Earth Federation, right? And there's a Space Federation, people who live in space, and there's a war between them. And there's the people who live in space are a different type of person. They're called contractors or whatever the fuck they're called, right? Or whatever the fuck, which is basically new types, you know.
mhm.
So I think with Xeon, I could be completely wrong or misremembering that they were just that more advanced, that they are just
Okay.
crippling Earth Federation in terms of like the
It definitely feels like
Zaku's
that
were
in the beginning
better.
because I mean, especially in the first part of the first movie, it's like the whole fact that well, first Xeon has like their Zaku units, and those are like tearing shit up.
Yeah. Well,
And it really
look at
feels
Earth
like Earth doesn't
Federation.
have anything compared to that until Gundam shows
Yeah,
up.
they have a bunch of these shitty mobile suits.
Yeah,
You know, if you even want to call them that, versus Zaku's and Goofs and all that kind of shit.
yeah,
And then finally, Earth Federation strikes it with the Gundam.
yeah.
You know.
And then they get the gun cannon and the gun tank too. But that's the other. I think that's the other thing that I was expecting more of is like, you think Gundam, you think of like mobile suits everywhere, and it's like
Mm-mm.
Xeon is really the only one with the mobile suits. And maybe there's more like outside of White Base, but on White Base it's like they've got the Gundam, they've got gun cannon, and they've got gun tank. That's
Yeah.
basically it.
Yeah, it's the other series that fill in
Mhm.
much later, like
Yeah.
Thunderbolt and War in the Pocket and Stardust Memory, all these other ones that add in these other Gundams that like, why
Yeah.
would they just fill in to like fill in
Yeah.
the universe or whatever. Um, but I agree with everything you said. I not having seen the show in I don't know 10 years, 15 years,
Hmm.
because it's not one that I watch a lot. I mean, if I was gonna go back and watch it, I would just read Origin
Yeah.
because I think it's better looking. I think it's easier to get through, and
I do need to go and like read the rest of the Origin. I still got it on my shelf.
yeah.
That first, I think I have the first like five or six. But after like watching these movies, I feel like I want to go and start collecting because I'm sure it's all done being published
Oh
by now.
yeah,
So
it's been done. I mean, and that's Vertical, I believe, who published that. And
mm,
it's just something that it's easier to get through, and you can kind of cut through some of that bullshit more. Because I will
yeah,
say this, the at least the first two movies, especially the first one, movie two is better than movie one, but
yeah,
movie one gives you nothing at the
yeah,
beginning. At the beginning, it just drops you into a fucking calamity.
yeah. I mean, that's the yeah. And I think that's one of the things that I kind of wrote down in my thing was I mean the yeah the whole Gundam movie. I'm assuming the series starts off like this too. Is just like you're on side seven, and then it's immediately like the most horrific crimes you've like ever seen of like entire communities just being like
Hmm.
fucking decimated in front of Amuro and Frau, and like her mom and like is killed and blown up in front of her. Like it's crazy. Um, and there's really yeah nothing to hold on to once all that starts. It's
Like the
really not
movie
till later
starts and
on.
Amuro's already in the Gundam.
The what? Yeah,
It's like Amuro's already in the Gundam at the beginning of the movie. You're like, what the fuck are we doing? How did he even get the Gundam? How did he get in there? How can he pilot it? You get none of this information that the episode does give you. Like, okay, he's a smart kid. His dad helped build the Gundams, like the mastermind behind the Gundam, all this kind of stuff. You
you
know?
kind of get that a little bit in the movie where it's like I mean he's definitely like they don't expand on a whole lot, but like they definitely like show that like he's a geek, he's like a
Oh,
techie
they
kid, and he
do.
like likes that kind of stuff. And he gets the manual. It still doesn't explain how he's able to pilot it, but that's like I'm guessing the new type shit that they
But
kind of
in the
explain.
first episode of the show, or even in the first chapter of the manga, if you have it in your hand,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they show his room, and his room's full of tech stuff. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
he's like tinkering, and his dad is like always working, and they mention that. So it's like it's clearly he comes from a mechanical,
yeah,
family, and his dad is the Gundam guy.
yeah.
His dad is Aaron Yeager's dad.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Um,
Getting the damn robot for sure.
yeah. So I want to start. We can start from the beginning, I guess, from the first
Hmm.
movie. Um, just kind of break it down that way. There's
Yeah.
no exact formula to this, but
Okay.
how?
Uh,
Oh,
yeah.
go for it. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say one of the first things I have is, and it's really more expanded upon in the second movie, but I think one of the things that attached me to this movie more so than the characters is that it's got great world building.
Hmm.
Um, More so in the second movie, I think the narration like kicks in a little bit more, where especially like the omniscient narrator kind of explains more about like the world and like what's kind of going on. In the
Hmm.
first movie, they kind of give you the setup of like the war and like what's happening with the war leading up to the Side Seven attack. The second one, I think I liked a lot better because that omniscient narrator, um, I don't know why it takes till like the second movie, but they actually explain why Gundams in mobile suits like even exist in the first place,
Hmm.
which is not something that's really explained because they get to the what the fuck is it called? The Minovsky particles, and they're
Hmm.
like, yeah, there's these particles that like, well, they're not really explained, but like they can like spread out everywhere, and it basically makes like long range communication and like targeting systems and stuff like that like unreliable. And so that's why you have to do like close up mobile suit combat basically
Yeah.
because any sort of like missiles or long range weaponry basically gets scrambled up by these particles.
Yeah.
So I like that explanation for it a lot. for like why this story even exists in the first place.
Right. Even though eventually we have massive rail guns that still
Yeah,
are
that
launched from ship to ship and seem to be
yeah,
fine, but I guess because they're laser beams, I guess it works fine. I guess
I
I don't
guess
know.
so. It's not a nuclear missile, I guess. So
Yeah. How do you feel about, because it is an old show?
hmm
How do you feel about the art style and the animation?
um, the art style I don't mind. The art style I think works, and it's nothing like too flashy about it. The animation is definitely 70s animation. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
highly limited, lots of smear action lines, which I don't mind. But you can definitely tell that it's made in the 70s. It's
Yeah.
definitely got that animation style to it. But the overall art style in and of itself, I don't mind a whole lot. Um, Character designs, at least for the white base and even the Xeon people, like everybody has distinct character designs. There's nobody that's really like a mob character, at least characters that have lines. Like all of them have like distinct designs that work for them. And so I really like the art style in that aspect, and I like the look of all the mobile suits. I think they're really cool, especially in the second movie when you start getting to more in like the varying Xeon mobile suits with
Mm-hmm.
like offs and like the I don't know, they're weird like pincer mobile suits and like that kind of thing. Like I really like the different designs for all the different mechs and the ships and stuff like that
Yeah.
um, that are in the show.
Yeah. I really like the character design. I think that it's super classy, and
hmm
it's one of those designs from the '70s that I think holds up a lot. Stuff like Devilman,
hmm
a lot of the Go Nagai stuff. I think that's his name, the Devilman guy.
Oh yeah.
Cutie Honey, that '70s stuff, the big eye kind of shit, right? Even
hmm
even the Kamen Rider designs and stuff like that, Cyborg
Yeah.
009 style. Though Gundam's not exactly all the way that, but it's still super '70s style with the big eye and
Yeah.
hair all floofy. Um, Kind of like with like Captain Harlock and stuff like that. But I like the designs a lot, like the colors a lot.
Yeah.
Animation, obviously, for what it is, I give it a pass because it's
Yeah.
1979.
Yeah.
Um, and you see a massive upgrade 6 years later in '85 or whatever the fuck for Zeta. It's insane. It's so
Okay.
much insane. But the some of the animation that does bother me, and
hmm
it's I won't. 1979 is not an excuse for this because I've seen Disney do it in 1940 something, which is that
Okay.
there's times where, like for Zaku specifically, when
hmm
Zaku's are launching, they just take a still image of the Zaku
Oh, and
and
just yeah,
just
just
move him through the fucking funnel.
yeah.
And that to me is just the most boring, lazy, undynamic, interesting thing in the world. Now that changes completely in later Gundam. It becomes
hmm
the launching sequence becomes this whole massive,
Yeah.
fucking cool ass thing. But in this show or these compilation movies, it's the most boring thing sometimes
Yeah.
for these Zaku specifically because they're grunty.
Gundam's isn't bad. He's got the little catapult and shit like
Yeah, and
that.
that's perfectly fine. But just catches here and there of cheap labor, which I get. I get
Yeah.
it. It's 43 episodes in 1979. I
hmm
understand. But some of that I do catch and kind of bugged me. How do you feel about kind of jumping from that to kind of bigger topic? The
hmm
story overall from A to B in both movies. Because we can just remove the barrier that is the ending of movie one and beginning of movie two because we were doing both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Since I watched them back to back, so
Yeah.
there was no buffer for me. But for the
hmm
story for A to B, movie one, movie two of White Base and Amuro and the Earth Federation, how did
Yeah.
you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it? How do you feel about Amuro as a main character? How do you feel about Char as an antagonist or a protagonist, depending on how you assume Xeon's role in this?
Yeah. Um, well, I think that was before I get into like the overall story of itself. I think that was the thing that I kind of wrote down. Uh, Shit, where did I write it down? Because I had it. I think I added it at the end, which is like it's the weird dichotomy that I found in Gundam, specifically when you're looking at like Amuro's side and Char's side, like the Earth Federation and and the Xeon side. And maybe this is like the American perspective on it, and I
Mm.
don't know if like you felt this way as well, but it feels weird where it's like Xeon is set up as the bad guys of the Gundam story, obviously, but if you look at it from like a more detached perspective on it, Xeon's motivation is like
Mm-hmm.
they want to gain independence and they want to be able to like govern themselves, which is basically like
Mm.
America.
Oh, it's this.
So it's weird
From
that
one
it's like,
perspective, it's literally taxation without representation.
yeah, like that's their whole thing. But then it's also like, so it's like that. But then they also have like the super fascistic
Mm-hmm.
like costumes, and their architecture is also very like Germanic, and
Yeah.
like their whole government system is based on like the Kaiser with like the the whole royal family thing with
Mm-hmm.
between the zombies and all that kind of stuff. So it's weird that you've got like the American ideal of like wanting independence and like gaining freedom and like basically like trying to become their own nation in and of itself, but you mix that in with this like very like dictatorial mindset and culture that seems to be like presented with Xeon.
We'll also combine that with the fact that there's still royalty that matters
Yeah.
to a lot of these factions. Like royalty is still like even in Unicorn, there's a royalty line there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so that's that combination of like who's wrong, who's right, which I think is really great storytelling.
Yeah.
Because Amuro isn't good or bad, and Char is not good or they both do shit things.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, now obviously you root for Amuro more because he's the younger kid
Hmm.
and he's the main character. But
Yeah.
in Zeta, skipping ahead, like
Hmm.
Char's the main character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you get this perspective from all these characters who are three dimensional. Whereas in stuff like, just a whatever mecha show
Hmm.
doesn't dive in deep enough to really blur those lines.
Right.
But like it's in Amuro, just like every other main character in a Gundam series,
Hmm.
has that internal struggle of like in the first movie where Amuro finally gets his first kill in combat,
Yeah.
where he like freaks out. Like
Yeah.
it's that Shinji effect.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's actually someone in this cockpit, which
Hmm.
happens in every giant robot mecha all fucking time.
Yeah.
It happens all the fucking time. You know,
Anything where it's like people in mechs facing off against each other, then yeah, that always happens.
yeah, and Amuro goes through that from I think for me from A to B.
Hmm.
At least in it's a slow.
I can't remember. Is it A or is it B where he gets like, because it's not in his first battle when it happens, but he gets like shell shocked basically.
Is that when he's
I
in
think it's the
space?
end of A, but
Is that when he's in space still? Right?
no, it's when he's on Earth because it's when they.
Okay.
It's like his first match against the blue
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Goth.
yeah.
Because I think it's the end of A because then the beginning of B is like wrapping up that whole storyline with the blue Goth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm talking about.
So I think it's that, or no, or is the end of A? Is the end of A the whole um Zabby Prince? No, that's like the middle of A, isn't it?
Well, either way, I know what point you're talking about.
But yeah, he like basically I don't even remember what happens. Like I feel like that came out of nowhere. Where it's like all of a sudden like the blue Goth shows up, and then all of a sudden they're like telling Amuro to launch, and he looks like he just shot a kid, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what is happening? Like
Well,
the scene previous did not explain like why he is like shell shocked right now. Like I think they gave some sort of explanation that it's like I can't even remember what they called it, but they basically said he had like soldier PTSD because he just been doing it too much. But
there's that, and then there's the idea that like the scene in two, I believe,
hmm
where I believe it's Bright is talking to the other girl about Amuro,
hmm
and he's like, Amuro is being kind of a brat.
yeah,
We gotta check him now type shit.
yeah, the beginning of movie two, yeah, and then yeah, he's getting too big for his britches,
Even though
like in
like
front of
you
Amuro.
didn't just look to your right, he's sitting right there.
Yeah, I don't get that because there's like no wall in front of them at all, and
It's
then
a
all of a sudden they finally turn and they're like,
yeah,
and
it's a big ass
I'm like, you couldn't
hangar.
have looked like before you started talking shit about him.
Literally, it's a big ass hangar. His
But
breathing would
also, I mean,
echo.
their points kind of prove because they're like, he's getting too big for his britches, and he's like, I don't need this shit, and then he proceeds to steal the Gundam, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
bitch, you can't just like take that, like it's not yours.
Yeah, go to a bar in middle of the
Yeah,
desert and
a water bar.
get
That
fucking
reminded me of like some Waterworld shit, where it's just like
yeah.
a bar where it's just like he's just drinking water.
Well, how do you feel about Omaro though as a main character? How do you feel about his characterization? How do you feel
I
about his
know he probably gets
progress?
better later on, but he a bitch. He a
Yeah.
bitch for these two movies.
Yeah.
He
Yes.
is. I hated his ass. He
It's
gets so like I thought he was
yeah.
gonna be fine at first, and then it's like, I think it's after the side 7 ambush where he's like on white base, and he's just like, I don't even remember exactly what he does, but he's just like a bitch. And then Bright slaps him, and I was like, yeah,
Yep.
slap the
Yep.
shit out of him, man.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah.
He is, and that's the thing about UC that is so great is that there's so much time to tell the story of Amuro and Char.
Hmm.
Because a lot of other Gundam shows we get a year, maybe season 2 is 3 years later or some shit like that, 2 years later. But with Amuro, we get 0079, 1 year
Yeah.
of his life, however old he is, 15, whatever the fuck.
15,
You
16,
know,
something.
Zeta's 8 years later, 7 years later, so he's like 20 something. He's been doing this for a while. You
Okay.
know what I mean? Or he's retired, step back. He's had perspective.
Hmm.
You know, and then you have Char's counterattack, which is like 14 years after the first show. So at this
So
point,
it's
he's
like
like
what,
28.
7 years or so after Zeta or
Yeah,
something
he's like
like that.
28 years old, 30 years old. So he's like a full ass man. He's been in
Yeah.
combat a lot. He's a whole different kind of person.
Okay.
So the journey doesn't stop at the end of 0079. It stops at the end of Char's counterattack whenever that movie ends.
Hmm.
Um, but in this particular in these movies, man, even I know what happens in movie 3 because I've seen it and I've
Hmm.
seen the show and I've
Hmm.
also seen movie 3. Like that's the part that of the series that is what Gundam really
It really grows into what Gundam
becomes.
is.
Yeah, because 1 and 2, it's like man, Earth battle, boring
Well, that was
battle.
the other thing was in watching these movies, which is like you get into it and you're like, hell yeah, it's Mobile Suit Gundam. It's gonna be like fucking space battles and shit like that. And it's like you get to it and it's like the first two movies are like we're just gonna be on Earth.
Yeah, and we're
We're just
just
on Earth.
and story wise, um, the running. Oh my
Oh
god, the
yeah,
whole
well, that was like I don't know if that's just like the fact that they trimmed all the fat out of these movies, but it's just like the constant like their battle after battle after battle. It's like at a certain point, it's like you just feel bad for them. They're like, can these
well,
guys just catch a fucking
it's
break,
the
dude?
idea of, like, even with the fat still there, it's like the whole point, like they're on a journey to somewhere, and it's like, oh god, the whole show is them attacking white base while they're on a journey over and
Yeah,
over again. Fuck
it's just
off.
constantly white base going somewhere, and then somebody sees them that shouldn't see them, and it's like, all right, kill white base.
Yeah, and it's just like, dude, let's think of something different. Let's be on the offensive for once. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Um, but what else have stuck out to you, man?
So there's that. So I like Char a lot.
Mm,
I like Char so much that I'm disappointed that there's really not a whole lot of Char in these first two movies.
yeah.
You get most of him in the first movie, really. He shows up in like the back half of the second movie, but it's
Hmm.
really like he's
Hmm.
in like the first half of the first movie, and then Garma dies, and then he disappears because he basically everybody figures out that he fucking let Garma die, so he's basically like on everybody's shit list. And then you get the blue Zaku, like that whole storyline, and that's like up to like the ending the first half of the second movie, and then you get Char coming back to like finish off the back half of movie two.
Yeah.
But I like him a lot. I like his perspective on it. Um, I'm interested, and I know there's more to it because you've got the Char origin movies and stuff like that like kind of explain his backstory. But I'm really interested in how him and Sayla ended up where they are in their lives, like what separated them, like what is even their backstory. Like we keep getting hints to like more so it's more associated with Sayla, but like who Sayla's father is and like what is he to like it almost feels like the way that they're talking about in the movie, he has something to deal with like the origin of Xeon, or like the origin of like why this 1 year war even started in the first place. There's something like that. There's some sort of like hint of that I feel like I'm getting, and I don't really understand it, but I want to know more of it. I feel like that's more of like the Game of Thrones politic aspect that I really want to like
Mm-hmm.
get further into. I feel like there's more in like their backstory, so like kind of fleshes that
Yeah,
sort of stuff out.
definitely. Yeah, I agree, man. Char's an amazing character, and
Mm-hmm.
he's the one reason why I even like give a shit
About UC or
well, I mean Amuro too, but more so
yeah.
Amuro and further in the line. But
Mm-hmm.
Char stands out throughout the entire show, like the
Yeah.
entire run of him being in something, and he goes through the most character arcs. You know, Amuro kind of just rises to the occasion, becomes the character we expect him to become, whereas
Mm-hmm.
Char, like, okay, why is he Red Comet? Like, is
Yeah.
it duty? Is it personal? What's he doing? Right? Then
Yeah.
in the fall, and then he comes back. And then Zeta is a whole different person. And then in Char's counterattack, he's a whole different person. Like, there's it's his progressive, mindset
Up and down.
changing about Earth Federation and war and combat and humans and all this kind of stuff. You know, because again, at a certain point, and this is obviously a spoiler for movie 3, but at a certain point, are they still human, or are they the next step of evolution?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because they become the new type awakens, that kind of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean that to me is the only through line that because I'll say this again. I really think that this show is pretty boring.
Yeah.
It's pretty boring. The movies are pretty boring to me.
Mm-hmm.
But they're mandatory. Like a lot of things I can skip or even implement Jason fast forward rule. And trust me, if I didn't know what happens already, I wouldn't because I love Gundam so much. But since
Mm-hmm.
I have seen the show before and I've never seen these movies, I have no problem implementing Jason
The
fast
Jason
forward
fast forward.
protocol. I have no
Yeah.
problem because I know what happens.
Yeah.
And to me, it's these movies are the groundwork to get to Zeta. Because to me,
Mm-hmm.
Zeta is it's so much better, even though it's still a lot of the same. But to me,
Okay.
it's so much better. And I'll say this, no spoiler, but the opening's fight scene of Zeta is what you think Gundam is.
Okay.
Like it has like there's a Gundam fight on a colony, and you're like, this is fucking Gundam.
Yeah.
This is fucking Gundam. You know what I mean?
So for you, you feel like Zeta really ends up defining like what Gundam becomes,
Yeah.
or is it the back half of 0079 that does that?
Well,
Like
the last movie we're going to talk about next week or whenever we do it, movie
Mhm.
3, which introduces the new type stuff, and we meet Layla or whatever the fuck her
So
name
that
is.
really kind of like introduce, because I mean it's kind of like hinted at, and there's definitely like a lot of it, especially movie 2. They kind of bring it up quite a bit. Like they basically say that like White Base is the new type
Yeah.
squadron and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I guess that there's more of like an explanation. Is there more of an explanation of like how new types came to
So do
be
you have
specifically,
hold on,
or
real quick? Do you have any concept of what a new type actually is?
I know? I mean, I kind of didn't really until like this movie. Like I kind of get a basic understanding of it
Yeah.
now, where they're like
They're Jedi's.
they're like they
Yeah.
basically are like space wizards
They're
almost.
cosmic Jedi's.
Yeah.
Like the Gundam show, if you like, it goes from like just being this space opera kind of like light space opera light military
Mhm.
robot show with a teeny bop coming of age type thing to being like
Mhm.
this like who fucking ate the mushrooms and fucking made this shit go crazy. Because when Amuro awakens new type, like you start seeing it, it becomes this trippy acid trip where like
Okay.
the new types are connected, they can feel each other, it's fucking they can pilot and they can sense space and time and they can feel each
Okay, so is
other.
that kind of like the hints that we got in the second movie, where it's like after Matilda dies and he has like visions of Matilda, and Kai kind of is Kai a new type? Because
I
Kai
don't
kind of has it
even.
too. Once the chick dies and he has like an actual like back and forth conversation after he's died, and like he's
Yeah,
trying to like move on. Like I don't know if that's him just having his like internal monologue and trying to like forgive himself for what happened to this chick.
I
Uh,
honestly can't even remember because that part of the movie
Mm-hmm.
was
Jason Fast Forward rule.
Jason Fast Forward rule. Um, Now there's I know there's layers to being a new type,
Mm-hmm.
right? But in terms of the main ones that people care about, the pilots,
Yeah.
when they show you a movie 3, because you're when you get there and we talk and you start watching it, you're gonna be like, this is a whole different fucking show,
Yeah.
because there's literally a scene that is straight out of Star Wars
Okay.
where Omaro he's like, yo, I'm awake, my eyes are open, right?
I'm woke.
He's new type.
Woke to the
I'm
possibilities.
I'm new type zone, and
Okay.
he starts shooting funnels. He's like trying to trace their patterns and their motion to like blast them. You
Okay.
know what I mean? Because you start seeing fucking space reality or some some shit like that. So you're better than every other pilot, but that
Okay.
pilot is also a new type, like Char is. Okay, now you
So
have
Char is also a new type. Okay.
well, the top tiers are always new types, right?
Okay.
So like, there's probably pilots that are like
Because they're space wizards and they're just that much better than
they're
everybody
that much
else.
better than everybody else. Like there's
Okay.
pilots that are good, but they're not gonna lose to a new type.
So is that like so there isn't an explanation for it. So the fact that like he's the red comet is basically because he's a new type.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean obviously you're good, natural talent, you train, you practice, and
Right.
they say it in the first movie I believe where it's like they say like the next step of evolution, that kind of
Yeah.
shit. Like it's like yeah, because you're in space or whatever the fuck the reasoning is. I can't remember what they explain it in the third
What
movie.
they don't really explain in the second movie, they're basically just like it's because people are in space, and it's like okay, but then
Yeah,
you kind of got because then they have the hint that like Matilda was a new type, but then also Amuro's born on Earth, but he moved to space.
yeah.
So it's not like that you're born in space. I guess it's that you like spent time in space. I don't know.
Who knows what? I can't remember the exactly reason because it doesn't really matter to the overall story. You just
Okay.
know that like okay, when you have two new types fighting, that like here's how I picture it. This is never stated in the show or the movies. This is how I interpret it. Like
Okay.
the whole time movie one, movie two, we're watching two mobile suit pilots fight each other,
Mm-hmm.
right? And by the time we get to the last movie or Zeta, we are
Mm-hmm.
seeing people who are new types fight each other.
Okay.
So just intrinsically, the combat's going to be much ramped up. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like okay, if you're there's two dudes fighting or two chicks fighting in like a mobile suit or gun cannon, it's gonna be like okay, pew pew pew, pew pew pew, right? But you go to Char's counterattack and you have funnels flying around and they're being controlled by Amuro's brain and he's fucking
Mm-hmm.
telling them where to go and he's firing beams and all this like it's like it becomes that massive like space battle where they're like doing this like pew, pew, they're fighting like that and shit and they're fucking
Yeah.
to me and this they've never stated to me that's because the pilots are now elevated.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They can push the machines to a whole different level that a
Right.
normie pilot couldn't do. Example, like in Gundam Seed, um, the contractors or whatever the fuck they're called, conductors or whatever the fuck, their version of new type.
Mm-hmm.
The main character is all the fucking pilots who can pilot Gundams are new types,
Okay.
and they'll pilot and they'll be doing their thing, and then they'll like awaken the fucking sixth sense or whatever, and there's like a little
Yeah.
animation like and an explosion, and they start kicking fucking ass because they can
Okay.
see everything. They can see the fucking geometry or whatever the fuck. So, um, I think that you'll be happier to get that Gundam feel
Mm-hmm.
in um,
Movie three.
movie three.
Okay.
I do feel bad though. I want this is not part of the review, but I do want to
Mm-hmm.
say I don't think we should watch Counterattack next week.
We shouldn't watch Counterattack.
Yeah, because I didn't even think about
Because you
it.
think I should watch Zeta
Because you
first?
should watch Zeta first,
Okay.
right? Whether it's the compilation movies that I've never seen, new translation, I've only seen bits here and there. Um, you're gonna appreciate Char's counter because you're not gonna understand that there's a whole different character of Char
Okay.
in that time zone. You know what I mean? Like, because
Yeah.
you're gonna see him here as a bad guy, him here as bad guy. You're not
Okay.
gonna see the Zeta where he's not bad guy,
Okay.
and you're not gonna understand that. You know, whatever the fuck.
Okay.
So that's what I
Interesting.
think. And since we know that Hathaway is already out,
Yeah.
like it's already out, you can go find it right now.
Yeah.
I'm not dying necessarily to like, oh, we have to. And there's two other fucking movies.
Yeah.
So, however you want to schedule it for your own Gundam benefit, because I know what happens, so I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's more so for you.
Yeah, I do want to watch Zeta, like knowing that it's like more about like Char and like him being a good the guy. Like I'm definitely interested in watching that.
And good guys also in remember good guys in
In quote,
quotes
because it's
because
still
there's
Char. Yeah.
no good or bad guys. It's a
Right.
fucking another. It's an extension of 1 Year War,
Okay.
but 7 years later.
Interesting. Okay.
It's the stormtroopers. Where are they at? Well, who took the stormtroopers' place?
Okay.
Type shit,
Interesting.
But focusing on this real fast,
Yeah.
how did you walk away from it? The two movies.
Specifically the first movie, my one of the notes I wrote down is this is one of the shows that defines the phrase "good things only happen so we can set up sadness."
Yeah,
I think that was specifically I wrote that after he met with his mom. He
yeah,
meets up with his mom and he's like, "Oh my God, my mom! I haven't seen you in so long since I went to the moon." It's like, "Yeah, I miss you so much." And then it's like 5 minutes later, he fucking shoots a soldier, and his mom basically gives the look of like, I don't know what you've become." And he's like, "Peace, I'm gonna go be a soldier."
yeah. And then he meets his dad in the other movie, and
Oh, does
he's
he?
like, Dad. He's like, you're what are you being a little bitch about?
Dude, okay, so that was a thing that I didn't understand because I thought in the first movie, I definitely just thought his dad fucking died because
No, no, no,
the
no.
fucking the colony opened up and like I thought that because his dad was in the vehicle and I thought I saw that vehicle get sucked out to space and I was like,
Right.
okay, his dad's dead.
No, when you watch the third movie, you're gonna meet his dad, and he's like fucking crazy, crazy guy.
Okay.
I can't remember how long he's crazy guy in the movie, but he's crazy dude for a little bit. Him and Omaro butt heads.
Okay.
Um, but if did you come away from these two movies like excited, or were you like, or more so just like because obviously we know Gundam's popular, so this sets up popularity.
Yeah.
But like if this was a new show or just a standalone, there
Mhm.
was no other Gundam. Like for me, I would have walked away being like, man, this kind of
Yeah,
sucked.
after the second movie, I don't know, the second movie kind of picks it up a little bit because I really enjoy that end battle that they have in the base. I don't
Yeah.
remember the Zaburo base or whatever. Like when
Mm-hmm.
Char comes back, he's got his weird fucking claw mech and all that kind of shit. He's like climbing on walls like a monkey and doing all this kind of weird shit. And Amuro's doing his stuff. But then they had the fucking weird guy who was like married to Matilda die the exact same way that the girl did, where he gets fucking smashed because he's riding around in something that he shouldn't have been riding around in on a battlefield.
Yeah.
And he gets fucking bopped. And I'm
Yeah.
like, God damn it, dude. You didn't learn anything from your fucking fiance when she got bopped for doing the same shit.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that scene a lot. So I think that like kind of redeemed a lot for me. Um, but yeah, overall, like watching this, like if I was watching this as a show now, I'd be like, damn, dude, this is super depressing. I
Yeah.
don't even
Right.
want to keep going
I
on
mean,
with this.
and it gets worse. Like movie three has. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but movie three definitely pushes Omaro's character even
Hmm.
further.
Okay.
Especially in contention with Char.
Okay.
It puts them at different parallels
Yeah.
forever, like for the rest of their rivalry
Interesting.
type
Okay.
thing. And there's a connection that will be formed between them that will last until Char's
Until
counterattack.
counterattack,
Until
basically.
Char's
Or...
counterattack, pretty much. Until the end
Yeah.
of them, whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um,
Okay.
but Zach, is there anything else you wanted to hint or talk about or mention for the
Let me see.
movies?
I'm rolling through my notes. Let's see. Oh, fuck Scylla at the beginning of movie two when she fucking steals the Gundam
Yeah.
because she has some dumbass reason that, first of all, her reasoning makes no sense. Where she's like, "I'm gonna steal the Gundam so I can go talk to a Xeon soldier."
Yeah.
That makes no fucking sense. There's been no world building or anything established that you can even talk to anybody else inside a mobile suit outside of you and each other getting like your cockpits chopped up,
Yeah.
which was what happened to Amuro and the golf guy. That's the only way they communicate. Otherwise, they don't know who the fuck they are.
Yep.
So I don't know what the fuck her plan is. And then she fucking gets the suit wrecked because she's a dumbass and doesn't know how to pilot. Her very first thought is like, I didn't think it'd be this many G's.
Yeah, it didn't be this many G's.
What are you talking about? You did the simulation. How is the simulation? Does the simulation not account for the fucking like G's that you were breaking
say,
to
like,
launch into your cockpit?
Well, didn't she say like I did okay in the simulation? Is that what she said?
She said, I think she basically said that like she basically said that she aced it in the simulation.
Yeah.
But then she launches and she's like, I was expecting these G-force. What do you think was gonna happen? They're launching you at like speed of sound, like getting this fucking robot out of the ship.
Yeah.
So fuck her in that bit. I think she got a little bit better later on, but like that happened, and I was like, fuck this character. It's so stupid. Everybody makes stupid decisions with these giant world weapons of mass destruction robots that like basically like turn the tides of war. Like everybody's fucking around with the Gundam and doing shit with the Gundam that they should be doing. The Omaro shit where he stole it and like did his weird ass shit where he's gonna be a crybaby bitch because Bright said that he was getting too big for his britches, and then he proves Bright right by getting too big for his britches and saying that nobody can do anything without him. And he's the only one that can pilot the Gundam. Oh, and then he like got captured and he came back and he was like, no, I had an excuse. Like I didn't do it to just run away. And I'm like, bitch, I just watched this movie where 10 minutes ago you're like, I'm doing this because I want to run away. Don't lie to my face.
You only got away because the guy let you.
Yeah, you only got away, and the only reason you got captured is because I don't remember why he got captured.
Didn't the girl follow him or something? Or
well, I think he got captured because he came back to help them because he saw that the girl got followed when she came to pick him up, and then he's like, nah, bye, bitch, I ain't doing that, and then he like fell asleep on a dune or some shit. I don't know. I was really pissed off at that whole desert section. All that shit was like super fucking annoying, like him as a character.
Yep. Completely agree.
And then like one of the coolest guys fucking died to like save Amuro's life, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? The fucking chubby Ryu guy or whatever, who was like basically like I assumed he was like the most veteran soldier besides Bright on the ship because I think he was one of the first people on the ship with Bright on White Base. I like Kai's little side story with him and the girl. I like the fact that he's like, I mean, it's basically been this whole character the whole time, but he's like, I don't give a fuck about this war. Fuck all you people. Y'all wrote me into this, and I didn't ask for this shit. I don't want to be here anymore. I'm out. Peace.
Yeah.
But then he gets kind of get roped back in with the whole spy chick, which didn't make a lot of sense. Like, I like that it showed, like, that he's not a dumb character, and, like, he's a lot more clever than he lets on. Like, he instantly knows that, like, she's a spy. He's like, yep, she had a gun in her fucking basket, and she was, like, ready to kill me if I fucked up. And he was, like, able to, like, go along with her shit to kind of, like, play her a little bit, too. But the spy made me mad because she leaks information, and then she felt bad about it because she saw the consequences of her actions. And I was like, what do you think they were going to do with this information that you're giving them? Like, they're going to do it and, like, play patty cake with the other side. Like, they're doing it and they're using your information so they can go kill him.
All Gundam is okay. You don't know, you do something, and then you freak out to the results of your actions, even though everyone should fucking understand the outcome.
Yeah.
Like if you put a beam saber into a cockpit, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, like that person's dead. Like that's what happens.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. Also, the only other thing that I really mentioned was like the three little kids that are like stuck on White Base, which is like that's also a weird thing because it's like I get with like teenagers, like okay, like they're like kind of in that age where they can like kind of make their own decisions and they're like competent enough that you can like teach them to whatever. But like you basically have toddlers on the ship and like you're basically letting them dictate like, oh, they want to stay with us. Who gives a fuck? They're like 5 years old. Send them away.
Yeah, we gotta have them for random.
I mean, I get it. They're the comic relief.
Yeah, comic relief of the show, B story.
But then they do end up saving the day by saving the Gundam factory, and I'm like, okay, so they're not just comic relief. Like they do have like some intelligence in them.
Yeah.
So.
Well, cool, man. Is there any final thoughts for Gundam Movie 1 and 2 compilation movies?
Just really want to get to part 3 now. I want to get to part 3, and I want to try to find these damn Zeta
I
movies because
found
I
them.
really don't feel like watching like 50 episodes of
I
Zeta
fucking
when I
found
know
them.
that there's like a better way to watch it out there.
I told you, man. I got them.
Yeah,
I got them. They're there.
yeah, I know. I gotta look them up.
We'll hook you up, man.
Yeah, I gotta get them. So, but yeah, I wanna get into Zeta real bad. So
We'll get into it so we can get to Hathaway.
yeah,
Well, man, that has been the pod.
it's been the pod.
This week's
A laser focused podcast
yeah,
this
laser
week.
focused. We can give it a shot, see what we can do, and we'll make some
Mhm.
tweaks or adjustments if we feel like it.
Yeah,
But thanks guys for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back next week with more license review, some more Gundam.
more Gundam. Hell yeah.
So thanks guys.
See ya.